Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Well, you're joining like really step by step. Happy to see you on this Friday morning. Also to see lots of mixed faces, I mean, from mainstream and wildcard groups. And yeah, well, today is the culmination, the epitome, I guess, of the program, the last one, the cherry on top. And we decided to make it as a more peer-to-peer exchange, more probably, yeah, I mean, Vitalis is obviously the expert in what he's doing. However, it's not like clear speakership slash participant interaction. So we decided to make this experiment today to have the workshop on the product of one of the participants and also on some of the topics that kind of relates to everyone. I think it's a good way to also do some loop learning here because week one was about customer development, and we again go into the customer development and user research mode. That's why we're doing it also for the wider audience. Well, with this being said, please turn on your cameras if you're sitting somewhere stationary so that we can see you. Please mute yourself because of, so that not to distract however the workshop is going. And yeah, let me know if you need anything in the chat or raising your hands. I think it's going to be a very interactive session, and Vitalis here has prepared lots of interesting things ahead. Well, with this being said, I'm passing the baton, passing the word to you, Vitalis, to start going deeper into customer development.
That's lovely, Irina. Thank you for introduction. And yeah, happy to see you, let's say, meet you all virtually, because that's how we started. And yeah, I know most of us exhausted because I did exactly the same things as you did over this 7 or 8 weeks together with you. And the one thing I wanted to share with you, it's like my experience. So yeah, I'm Vitalis. I'm 38 years old. Yeah, doing some sports, have 2 kids, wife, living in Germany, Bremen, since 2019. And since 2011, I had a pretty intense experience with up and downs in the product development area. And I think it's actually echoes with yesterday's session with Alex Finn regarding the product management, product development. And yeah, wanted to share some experience that might give you some better understanding what's the customer development, not in theory, but in hands-on experience, and what is it, why it is important. Yeah. So long story short, this is kind of a structure. Don't be afraid. I will make it as easy as possible, but if you have any questions, just stop, yeah, write in a chat and so on. There will be some kind of things like questions or some tasks, yeah, that I want to apply in the chat. I don't want to disturb you and go to some separate rooms or Miro board, yeah, so we will skip such things, yeah, but I wanted to adapt this workshop just exactly for Constructor University. Does it sound good? Perfect. So how do we start? So basically, customer development, user research, I guess you hear this word, yeah, or design thinking that I repeated once in a while, yeah. So mainly, it's all about the things to understand what is a problem solution you have for your product, yeah, and it actually can be for a feature, it can be for even some life obstacles and so on and so on. It's eliminating some part where you have a lot of, let's say, distance to your target and having such a scoped view on how to solve it. In short, yeah, there will be a lot of kind of different models, but yeah, let's start from the essential part. Regarding the session itself, it will echo a lot with my experience, and I think it was one of the best experience which summarized all my career in Volkswagen. There is like a really great white paper regarding this one, but I will tell about this a little bit later. So, reality check. Where it can go. It can work for, and it will work for startups, for enterprises, and for anywhere you're solving some customer problems. Even if you have API backend end-to-end service, like a middleware, it will work as well. Yeah. It is essential because you will need to understand what is the market relevance, what is the risks you have, and why it is like important from customer point of view, and how you are developing yourself as a person to convert yourself in a machine that literally understands customer needs. So it doesn't matter you're just started or you're enterprise, it will work for you as well. Yeah. And why it matters? Because, yeah, we know from statistics that most of the startups and features are failing, which leads to staggering 260 billions of dollars like wasted every year. And reason one for the startup failures is no market need, which means that like homework has not been done. Yeah. And common pitfalls is like obviously bias because we love our products, right? We want to skip some parts and go to the solution. I think we remember this from the first session, yeah, when everybody has a problem and we were asked like, but what is the problem? And so on and so on. And you have such a built first trap where you're basically planning some features, and then even if you executed it perfectly, you have to sell it, or you have years of maintenance and so on. And it doesn't matter if you're like employee or you're founder, such a long tail of maintenance, it makes like a really bad for you and for the company itself. And the case study will start with the one story. So I guess some of you, or maybe, yeah, all of you knows this big company, Volkswagen. It actually consists from a lot of different companies. It's Audi, Skoda, Bugatti, Bentley, Lamborghini, and some truck companies, and even Ducati motorcycles. Yeah. But their problem in 2015, after the second scandal, it was a Dieselgate, happened regarding the following. They have a very big company, rigid structure, strong union. And they understood that there is some systematic problem. What does it mean, systematic? It means that you cannot fix it, just, I don't know, apply a quick patch or aid. So what they did, they sent literally 2 people in Silicon Valley to learn how the startups are working there. And they realized that they cannot build the structure as it is, like internally. They need to have like a separate unit called digital lab. And it was completely decoupled from the main company. What does it mean? They had a separate location, they had a separate culture, they had agile stand-ups and so on and so on. And it's not because it's cozy or it's fashion, you know, like there's a lot of things regarding the agile that it's just a word or something. No, actually that was the idea how to build in a practice. And what they did is they built such a culture which was really counterintuitive to the culture they had before. And it consists of design and discovery and framing phase, where they discovered the problem, frame it, and then went forward. And to be honest, that was pretty interesting experience for myself as well, because I literally participated in this myself, like it was like 6 or something like sessions in a row. So long story short, there's Johan Cheryl, digital lab lead. We worked together. So their first thing that they did, they were proud when they closed the projects. What does it mean? Imagine you're starting a project, you have an idea, like here in Accelerator, and you're saying, okay, I have an idea. I want to have some kind of, I don't know, library booking system or something, yeah? And then you have another idea and another idea or deep research or something, yeah? And their main metric was not how many projects they started, but how many projects they stopped. So they made people to be proud that they stopped the project and they didn't proceed further. And in the first year, they stopped 6 projects, yeah. So it means they had like a PO, and it was like a pair setup, 2 PO product owners, 2 product designers, 2 or 4 developers here. They started to develop, discover, and in 6 weeks, there is no need, we are closing it, next one. And that made such a problem first mindset that whenever I approach somebody, it doesn't matter, it was it like a developer, was a designer and so on, and I was like a little bit higher position, they were like, okay, what is the problem? That was like a real moat between doing the stuff and actually executing the stuff. For now, I want to like have some kind of a challenge in the chat. It will be really great. If you will share, would it be possible for you to have like this problem first mindset? Would you be able to ask yourself what is the problem, or did you have such a situation that you had a problem, you didn't understand the problem you're solving with if you was employed or something, yeah? And do you think you will be able to change this like in a while? So what is the problem of your startup? Can you just outline in a chat what the problem you're trying
Yeah,
to
you
solve?
could use the chat or maybe just raise your voice,
Yeah, absolutely.
unmute yourself and just shortly saying, yeah, from what problem you are building your product. Yes, Abhishek.
How do I see it?
Hello, everyone.
Yep,
Yeah, hopefully I'm audible.
you're audible.
Mhm.
Okay. Actually we have built our product in your health technology sector, integrating artificial intelligence. So the problem that we have mostly seen is in your hospital automation sector, that most of your staffs are extremely they are facing a problem of your staff burnout, which often leads to your low patient care. That is one of the problem. Another problem that we have found out is about your elder care, where there is a lack of your remote patient monitoring system, family dashboard system for the real-time analysis of the patients. So these are the areas in which we are working on, and we are trying to develop one AI-enabled operating system. And nowadays, your healthcare mostly have a fragmented system, so we are trying to bring an integrated system in one software or one AI-enabled software. And in a way, we are trying to reduce the staff overload, your problem of your hospitals, and also your elder care problem for your also the elder care, your problem facing in different countries.
Okay. So basically, did you kind of validate this problem? What was your approach?
So I firstly did one market research. I made out some questions, then went out to go on a survey, and I then found out some score, and based on that I made the points, and then I started to make my product.
Perfect. That sounds like you did your homework. And what was your approach doing this, like deciphering what they said to some actionable items that led you to development phase?
So first of all, the questions were very basic, which I asked them about the current problems that they are facing in that sector. So after I found out the problem, then I looked for the solution in a way that if they are facing that problem, what kind of mindset that they are having while approaching towards that problem. So based on their mindset and based on the your because I come from India, so based on the economy and your cultural, your behavior that we all have, based on that we have tried to decipher that thing and then try to build out that product.
Okay, thank you, Abhishek. That was a really nice insight. I see there is another one, Miranda. There is reading comprehension problem. I sorry, I didn't get it. Can you maybe vocalize it a little bit? Okay, probably we won't have it. Anyone else? So guys, you don't have any problems for identified for your startups after 7 weeks? Education is right, but many in Asian face barriers due to language gaps, high cost, and outdated teaching methods. Yeah, that's nice. If it's possible to elaborate a little bit, how did you identify this problem? What was your approach here? Some you Mindtree solutions. Okay. Probably today it will be a little bit harder for vocalizing it. No worries. Let's go further. So, what about the problem? When you are identifying the problem and stopping something, it's easy to say, okay, we identified like the problem, we are building this feature, or we are building the feature because we identified it and we want to stop the project, but it sounds like a little bit vague, right? It's like looking more like a corporate something, yeah? Like you are just, okay, we are gave a different approach, we close the project. But actually, it has an underlying method that we were using, and that's what I want to tell you about, yeah? So when we're talking about making the cycle from 1.5 years, meaning 18 months to 6 weeks, it means that there was underlying method how to do this in a right way. And there's two different, let's say, main aspects. Yeah, it's a customer development or design thinking. It's basically have a different origin, but it has a different, let's say, a little bit different methodology. Yeah. One is like discovering and validating customer needs. Another is design thinking and it's like human-centered problem solving. Yeah, I was more in design thinking. Yeah, but I hear here like in first week there was like more a customer development. It's Steve Blank lean startup methodology. I was more from IDEO and design consultancies from 80s. Yeah, but actually in a sense it's kind of the same. Yeah, one is systematic hypothesis testing, another is empathy-driven innovation. But anyway, in both ways, you're validating the problem. You're trying to understand from a customer standpoint of view how you're doing this. Yeah. So what is interesting, probably most of you heard about the user stories. Yeah. But where they're coming from? Why you need to write something as a user stories? Because the fundamental part, the first step of a user story is exactly customer development or design thinking, where you are crafting the story that user gave you literally, and you validate it, and then you're giving it to developer. It's like thinking of bridge between your research process and actual execution. Sounds interesting, yeah, when it's like not so silent whenever you worked in an organization or something, yeah? So agile development, design thinking, or customer research, user research is coming on par to each other. So they're complementing each other. There is like some exercise, but I will share the link later. You might do it by yourself. Yeah, it's about the customer segments, problem, solution, hypothesis tests. Yeah, because this link is publicly available. I will just share you, and if you want, you can do it, or actually I can help you to do it together. Yeah, we can have like some call with you. Yeah, it will be free for participants of Constructor University. Yeah, I think we will be able to do this together if you want. So the key way, what you want to do is to integrate the correct ways how you're operating inside the organization. So you will make it systematic. You remember I told about the Volkswagen. They were systematically not correct with their way how they produce the stuff, which led to huge losses in this Dieselgate. And actually, absolutely will be same for the startup. If you will not have a proper process, proper people, proper things established, yeah, it will lead to things that happen to Volkswagen, but on a smaller scale. Yeah, you'll have like an echo chamber. There are few things regarding the research process. It's qualitative and quantitative. Actually, it's quite a hard word to understand, to be honest. Yeah, but mainly it's like let's say more contextual user interviews, yeah, or diary studies and so on. And quantitative, it's where you're making it in a mass, yeah, when you're not talking with the people one by one or assessing something one by one, like standing behind them and looking how they're doing something, yeah, but it's more like a data, yeah, you have like Google Analytics, you have Amplitude, you have Mixpanel or something, yeah, or you're giving them a cards, and then they are sort, how do they perceive something in a way they need to do this, yeah. But basically, you as a startup founder can be hard, but what users are saying, but unfortunately, it's the main thing you need to do. Yesterday, I was approaching some people and saying, hey, I made like a soft launch, and they were saying, oh yeah, this one is not right, this one is not right. I understand that it's not the main thing I wanted to test, but if they notice something and they don't like it or they want to give a feedback, you need to be, let's say, very perceptive. Like you need to have a perception of, okay, they are giving me a feedback, they didn't understand, they have a frustration, why did they have it? And like taking not on your side, or they do not understand, not making yourself defensive, but make sure that any feedback that they are giving to you, it's actually like valuable, yeah. So I would say that it might hurt, yeah, but it's important part of the process. Regarding the user interviews, you need to prepare, yeah, you need to have an interview with open-ended questions. I think we discussed it at the beginning, and then you're starting broad, yeah, and actually starting, yeah, it's more important. And then you need to listen more than you're speaking. It's very hard, especially for me. I have some kind of a spectrum on ADHD part, yeah. And it's like, it takes a while for me to set up in this, but even if I can do this, yeah, obviously you can do it as well, yeah. Body language, emotional responses, and some leading questions. It's like, let's say advanced level, yeah. If you will just create a questionnaire, start and listen, and now when you have ability to transcribe all the calls and so on, just not like it was, yeah, because before we needed to write down everything from audio like manually, yeah, and it was just a few years ago. And now you can do these transcriptions like instantly, yeah, you're receiving them in your Google Meet or using another services like in 30 minutes, yeah, and you just can decipher all what you have discussed with one or two or three persons in a call, yeah. That's quite amazing technology, to be honest, yeah. Regarding the leading questions, it's like a little bit harder. So it's about asking something binary or supporting your narratives. Imagine if you're asking, okay, you have like a Pepsi and cola. Why do you like cola more? Yeah, or something like that. Or whenever you're approaching the supermarket, why you're taking why you're taking the basket, or why you're taking this, yeah. It's not the right way to ask a question. You need to ask, okay, when you're approaching the market, how do you go there, how do you went in, yeah, can you describe in details, yeah. And you need to leave as much space as possible so people will express themselves in like 3 sentences, and that's where you're extracting the juice, yeah. That's a very important. And the last but not least, verbatims, yeah. So you need not to just making some kind of overall statement. Okay, he said that he is coming to the market 3 times per week. Yeah, it doesn't say anything. Yeah, what he said or she said, he is coming by a car, driving for 10 minutes, taking the stroller, then entering the supermarket, then he has, I don't know, to bring the bottles to the vending machine, and then he's receiving a receipt, and then he's forgetting that there is a receipt, and that he has to reclaim this money, and so on and so on. These small details are most important parts of your talk, not like the person visited the supermarket. I hope it's like it's clear. Yeah. Let's try to do just one open-ended question and just an exercise, yeah, in a chat about your product. I'll give you like a few minutes, and let's read them and just see how it goes. So just take your product, take any open-ended question, and yeah. So open-ended question is like, here's good examples. Yeah, tell me about the last time you faced a problem. Okay. Or walk me through your typical day. What was most frustrating part? Do you have like any open-ended question about your product? Anyone? Or you might ask it like right now, if you want to.
So just take your problem or relevant situation, the relevant context to the problem that you're solving with your product, and formulate any of the open-ended question. So you can take the first, second, third example or on your own and just type it in the chat or, yeah, pronounce it. Okay, we have the first answer.
Okay. As we develop a language learning game-based service, we compare our future product with other language learning products and ask the question, what still stops you from speaking the language you're learning? This one, I would say it's a good one. Language learning, compare future product with other language learning products and ask the question. Okay, so basically what do you want to validate here? You want to understand is not the problem about the game-based service, which is correct. Yeah, you're not leading a person to some kind of a narrative. Yeah, and you're asking like, what stops you from speaking the language you're learning?
Okay, I might vocalize it.
Yep.
We compare ourselves, for example, with Duolingo, as we are, me and my business partner and our relatives, friends, we all moved several times during the last several years and learned languages of the countries where we lived. And as we use other services like Duolingo, because it's the most famous example, you learn the language, but you still feel shy to speak
Right.
it.
Yeah.
This is what we want to break with our service. It's a game. It will be the game. So you will be able to speak without feeling shy because you will speak with the machine, not with real persons.
Absolutely.
We will simulate, but we want to simulate real situations like going to the market, going to the shop, searching for some service, and so on and so on. So this is the main question, because we ask this question to ourselves: why we learn language, but we don't speak it?
Yeah.
We want to hear an answer. Yeah, we have our answers, but we want to collect other
diverse opinions.
Diverse answers to this question too. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this one, especially, thank you, Nikita, especially given the context, it's I think it's a very good one. So imagine you have a question here. Yeah, just I will try to explain. You have a question that you're probably, as a person, like you're confident about it, but that's exactly the main issue of any user research. You need to go to other people, and actually Nikita did a great job here, yeah, and ask them question which sounds for you really obvious and like, oh, everybody knows that Duolingo, especially in the tech area, yeah, it not making you to actually speak, yeah, because it's like not enabling you, but you still need to validate it, why people cannot start speaking after they are like using such apps as a Duolingo, what prevents them, yeah? And then you will get this juice that you will need later to interpret, but we will go to this later. That's a really nice one. Open Schooler Simri, for students, how do you usually find out what books professor recommend or have written? Have you ever wanted to share something you've written? What held you back? Okay, so there are different personas. They identify there are students, universities, professors. Yeah, there are some narratives about the finding of books. Something wanted to share something already. What held you back? So there is a double down on a question. So I guess it's actually also a good technique when you're asking a question, you're going double down on something. What held you back? And is there a digital space where your facility academic output is stored, discovered, or celebrated? And what challenges? Okay, this one, the celebrated part, is a little bit too like bringing you to some kind of a narrative, yeah, because like why you need to celebrate, yeah, something. It's like you're already bringing some kind of a construction of your part of your product. I guess so, but maybe there is some more context. What challenges do you face when trying to reach more students with your materials? Yeah, that's a really nice one. So it's open-ended. You're like you're asking literally their pain point directly. Yeah? And here, how do you find on recommend or have written? I will phrase it maybe a little bit different. I will phrase it like, if it's not the first one, yeah, I will phrase it like, do you like even like read any books or that professor recommended, or do you find any the books that professor recommended are useful or something? Yeah, just some opener for the beginning, because if you are like bringing to some narratives, they will answer you in the narratives that, oh yeah, books are fine, professors are great, we like them, you know. And so on. It's a little bit hard when you're putting them in some kind of guardrails that you made by yourself, but overall it's good. We bring best AI models in one place and also Chrome extension for increasing productivity. So question, as a freelancer doing my freelance jobs, how do you manage using multiple AI accounts for different tasks? How would you use Chrome extension, which can be available on every page? So again, if it's identified freelancer who is already using AI tools, that's the one thing. Yeah, so it's already kind of niche, like a persona. It will be a freelancer who is using AI tools, and you get the list of these persons. Yeah, and you're asking this like kind of a question. Yeah, if it's like extension for increasing productivity, then I would not ask this leading question, because it leads like that. It imposes that person, like it glues two things. Yeah, there are AI accounts for different tasks, but do they even use them? So it will be, let's say, double down when you're asked and identified that, okay, freelancer using AI tool, they have a few ones. Okay, and then you're asking, how do you use it with the multiple AI accounts? So it cannot be like a first question unless you identify the person and it's like a list of the freelancers. But I really doubt that all the freelancers are using, especially if they're not in tech area. Yeah, it's a little bit shaky here. Nothing more. Yeah, great. I mean, thank you, and you're really useful. So as you see, questions itself should be not biased, not leading to the person you're asking. Yeah, you shouldn't imply that they are doing or they're thinking like you. You should be really broad and stupid, to be honest. Yeah, like literally you need to ask, okay, when it's a sunny day, what are you wearing on your face? You cannot ask it like this. Yeah, when it's a sunny day, how do you feel? Yeah, oh, maybe I'm wearing glasses, I have a sunscreen or something. Yeah, that's the answer you want to receive from them, not leading them to the answer. Okay, the next one. AI role in research and validation. You obviously try to do this, yeah, and it's with all the colleagues I talked, yeah, I have like product designers with 20 years experience, 25 years experience, 10 years experience, different ones, yeah. They all told me, we are using ChatGPT, we are using different tools. It helps a lot, yeah, but unfortunately, there is like a thing we cannot do. First of all, we cannot do it to junior ones because they cannot understand, and we need to admit it, there is some hallucinations and so on, and we need to check it anyway. Yeah. And the problem, it's absolutely the same with the business, with the coding and so on. You need to be like a human in the middle. Yeah, there is no evaluations frameworks. Yeah, you probably heard about this 80% of software development and so on. And there is a text heavy output. So imagine you'll have 5, 10, 45 minutes interviews. You're packing them, okay, in Google Gemini, yeah, they have a 1 million tokens context, but still you don't know what to ask, you don't know how to interpret it. Yeah, there is no evaluation how you can understand that it deciphered in the right way, and then it says, hey, oh, you're right, I was wrong. Yeah, you know how the AI answers on such a things. Yeah, so even you're giving some context. Yeah, it's very hard to produce something meaningful. Yeah, there is most of the part, and I think most of the startups, if they didn't have like founders with such experience, there is a huge experience gap. Imagine you don't have a developer, and then you don't have a development expertise, and then you're trying to develop an app. Yeah, and this app is literally be like wide coded prototype, yeah, but it will be not technically sophisticated as it needs to be. And then you'll have like exposed credentials or something in web, yeah, that everybody will be access to your case. Nowadays, there are some qualitative research synthesis tools, yeah, so they are making automated transcription, some sentiment, analyzing everything, pain points, and so on and so on. The main problem I found myself, yeah, and it's like the tool I was doing is literally about, okay, but what does it mean? So I understood the problem and so on. I went to the product designers and asked absolutely same stupid questions, yeah, like very obvious ones. And what I found out that, and also with the startups and with the product owners who didn't do the user research, they actually don't care about the user research. So literally you guys and others, yeah, and I found it exactly that it's hurting, but it's actually the true, and it's a very important part. And I just needed to admit it. I was like really stumbled for a week, and then I realized that all the tools that are in market, they are using such a thing that they're digitalizing the current experience of the people who know how to do the stuff, but they are not giving a bridge to people who don't know how to create the questionnaire, who don't know how to lead the interview, who don't know how to decipher this interview artifacts, meaning like transcriptions to something meaningful, let's say user stories or tasks or something. Yeah, that's why I made a different approach for the research synthesis. I can see. I can show it to you later, but let's talk about one different thing, yeah? And that's exactly what I was talking now, yeah? So whenever you're facing something eye-opening, as I did, yeah? I mean, I thought my tool will be awesome, yeah? I'm transmitting the interviews to some insights, awesome. But do you, like as a startup founder, do you need it? No, mostly not, because you're like in such a way that as any non-technical person will tell me about, I don't know, DevOps or something. You really don't know it, and you don't know that you need it. That's the main thing. So whenever you're coming to your idea, you will have a feedback, and sometimes feedback very contradictory to the picture you have. And what does it mean? You're thinking, okay, I'm sitting here, I have a good idea, I will be cool, I will defend my idea, I will be next Steve Jobs, and I'll have a brilliant results, right? Many of you think about it. But actually, what it happens is like you have idea, and then you're going to market. You're starting to talk to the people, and all the way around, you will be in Twitter, you will be in LinkedIn, you will approach the people with very obvious stupid questions, or you're going even to TikTok and make something like just for validation. All this way you will be cringe. And unfortunately, and actually it happened with me, and again, there will be like one story regarding Volkswagen again, and it saved Volkswagen 200 millions of euro, and it was exactly this one, being cringe. What I did, it was pretty simple. We had a brilliant use case of connecting source systems to one, yeah, just to give information to account managers and sales, which they needed to prolong the customer B2B customer contracts. Meaning, like, we will sell like not 5 cars or 10 cars, like 50,000 cars, or prolong 50,000 leasing contracts, and they couldn't give a discount to this account to the clients, or they gave a discount with the thinking that they will fulfill the orders. Yeah, we found this gap and made literally 10 or 20 features all along, like connections with the Salesforce, connections with the MuleSoft, like some middleware software, you don't care about it. Yeah, and then our product owner, he said, yeah, but we cannot have it here, we cannot have it here. And then I came and I said, like, for literally 3 months, we will not develop any more features. No, stop, full stop. We'll go to the Volkswagen Bank and we'll talk with them. We started to talk with them. We learned how their process is organized internally. We analyzed all the blockers. And then I said, we will build just with one client, one use case, just out of these interviews, yeah? And we'll see how it goes. We were like literally on a brink of closure for our project. But imagine what? In 3 months after we developed this, we made a POC with the energy company. It's called Vattenfall. It's a big energy company which are making, like, ordering a lot of cars from Volkswagen. And it was success because account managers were able to assess their different subsidiaries and know how many cars do they actually sell to this big company. Yeah, because, you know, fragmented data, consents, and so on, very hard. Then we extended it to 6, to other, and imagine what? Like 200 million euros saved. Why? Because some person decided to be cringe, and everybody told me, oh, why you need to go to these guys? You're asking stupid questions. Guys in financials are awful to talk with. Literally, it's like, it was really awful experience. And they were like looking on me as a stupid kind of nerdy guys that came to them and asking some weird questions. And then it made two brilliant results. And I would assure you, it will be absolutely the same with the startup and so on. So when you're being cringe, you're building something people want, but in a weird way, to be honest. So to do this and make yourself more resilient, you need to take your ego off. Ego doesn't bring you money, yeah, at all, because at the end of the day, you don't want to just build a product. You want to build a product which will be successful, which will be useful for people, and then it will be like more business driven, yeah. It hurts. Feedback is wrong. It's not my target customer. They don't understand my vision. All true, all true. But sometimes, especially when it's like a really good customer and so on, you need to understand why. Yeah, what you can learn from the perspective of this wrong customer, what is their underlying issue, and so on and so on. And it's a skill, it's like a muscle. If you're lifting a weights, if you're like running or you're reading, it's like a muscle that you're developing. This thinking, it's a way we are developing this muscle. Yeah, it's a very important part. Another thing is like emotions. Sometimes we are eager to create a brilliant solution, and we are thinking, oh, that's really brilliant, it works so well, there is like technical brilliance under it, yeah. But when we are assessing the market, we need to have like not a assessment from the emotional side. Somebody say, oh, it's like you have some bugs and so on and so on. They're using it or not. The flow is not perfect, but did they use it? Yes. I don't know, you're developing saying, yeah, we don't have like a database migration on 10K, 100K, it will be not useful. Okay, we are using it or not? Yeah. So on every part, we need to separate emotion from the data, yeah, from the actual usage, from the actual feedback, and so on and so on. So do not take it as a personal attacks. Patterns, follow-up questions, focusing on problem, yeah, and remembering the goal. It's the most important part. You looking further, yeah. So every time you have like a solution, think about the problem you're solving. Remember in the first slide, we had people, literally developers, trained they trained them as a muscle, asking, but okay, why do you need this dashboard? Yeah, I get you want to see the KPIs, but developer can tell me like, why do you need this dashboard? What the KPIs do you want to see? This KPIs, okay, I can give you like a SQL query. Will it be enough? Oh yeah. And you have, when you're developing such a culture inside the company or for yourself, that's a way to go forward, yeah. Also, you need to be curious, asking for more feedback and so on, like double down on something. And most of the things, you're not seeking validation. Yeah, you want to have the business that is operating. Yes, that's your goals. Yeah, you don't want to have this ego like, oh yeah, I'm awesome. I'm just like building a business, or I'm sharing something. Yeah, I'm not expecting anything like you will tell me, oh, it's great or bad. Yeah, I'm expecting to hear, okay, is it useful or not? That's the thing. Yeah. There is a mindset exercise you can do by yourself. Yeah. Like every time about the specific problems and concerns, the feedback highlights or questions and so on and so on. But that's your way to go for, your way to go for a long time. Ask questions that are feel obvious or dumb. No worries, and actually embrace such a culture in your organization. If you see that it doesn't work, what does it mean? It's not like pivoting, oh, it didn't work for, I don't know, day or two. You're pivoting when you like made 2-3 validations in a row and you see it doesn't work. Yeah. And then obviously it doesn't. Yeah. You don't need to make it hard. Cold calls, absolutely. And cold calls, it may be in LinkedIn, it can be in email or something, yeah, or just approaching somebody in accelerator program. I mean, I did it myself, and thank you for everyone who replied and so on. It actually was really useful for me. And then you're presenting and selling something what is not really polished. Yeah, here is some sounds I hear. Okay. And then uncomfortable conversations about the menu, money, value, and so on. So it's like sometimes you need to understand, will people actually pay for this? So for example, you have the solution A. If you will have solution B, which is mine, would you pay for this? Yeah. And it's actually hard to ask sometimes, to be honest. So yeah, being cringe, it's the way to go. Regarding the customer development plan, I will share it with you later. Yeah, you need to define what you want to check. You need to design your research, analyze and iterate, yeah, and then have the next steps. For the tooling, Calendly, actually, I found out now that in Google you can make this also really awesome. If you have a Google subscription or something, use Google. It really works well. Google Meet, Zoom, remote interviews, and actually automated transcription as well. For Otter AI, I'm not sure. Maybe you can use even open source alternatives already, yeah, or Google Meet or Zoom transcriptions. Miro, Typeform, yeah, up to you. For AI-powered analysis, yeah, for sure. As being cringe, I will advertise myself, but actually I'm just validating, looking how it works. For others, actually, they're market leaders like Insight, Dovetail, or you can use some kind of LLM tools, ChatGPT, Claude, and so on. But it's just for small things with the limitations you already know, yeah, losing context and so on. Way to go. Begin with any number of interviews, to be honest, yeah, but 5, 10 will be a sweet spot. Why? Because after 5 repetitions, you will, for open-ended questions, you will start to hear, if you identified your auditory correctly, the same answers. And it's pretty surprising and reassuring and building a confidence. Actually, confidence is quite important part of this one. And then you're not trying to validate everything. Don't try to put everything in your interview. Yeah, validate very simple things. Yeah, but when you will decipher the interviews, you will test your biggest assumptions. Yeah, and you will see that, oh, they're answering the same question open-ended in the same manner. It means that there is the same pain, right? And even if you didn't have like a good framework for it, you will already feel much better. So wrapping up how we did it in Volkswagen Digital Lab. So problem validation first. So what is the problem? Really deep, yeah, before any solution. What is the problem I'm trying to solve? What is the problem I'm trying to solve? Like you literally need to be dumb and pretty hesitant to yourself. Then your user research needs to be with the data. Yeah, you need to understand what you're trying to solve. For example, if it's a feature, yeah, what do you want to actually research? Not like I will go to talk with the users. Yeah, great, awesome idea, Charlotte. But you need to have some actual data you want to improve. Yeah, for example, we don't have an proper onboarding, and sometimes you need to validate even the smallest things, like people are not coming to my service and not using it. Okay, but did you validate if they're even find it? Did you validate if they're like can register here on, or which user we are talking about? Yeah, because users will say, oh yeah, your service is perfect, but what you actually want to solve here. MVP definitions and success metrics defined are actually about what your kind of core assumptions and what the validated things are looks like. When you achieved it, you're going to the next one. Yes, you can celebrate, but basically it's just a part of the road. It's not like you did something, but you did this research and then you're going further. It's not stopping here. Yeah, it's always like a initial discovery and research, and then you're going further. Yeah, validation on the topic projects, that's must. Speed of invalidation, so you want to validate it quick, and then next one also needs some resilience, I would say. And iterative learning, yeah, continuous discovery is a thing you want to have. So yeah, some success metrics. I would say the main success metric is like retention and willingness to pay, to be honest. Yeah, at the beginning, it's even like, did they use it or not? For example, I dropped my questionnaire helper and then people used it, yeah, and they had like questions generated after 10 minutes session. Success? Yeah, for sure success. Are they willing to pay for this? Not. Yeah, so you have some different disperse willingness to pay. And key takeaways. So customer development is essential. Doesn't matter which business you are. Yeah, qualitative research provides some insights. Yeah, it gives you some kind of a grasp what you're doing, but you always need to validate it further, especially if somebody wants to pay for this. I think it's pretty important part. Yeah, I know the stories about the like we have like a lot of users, but they're like not paying. Yeah, okay, for sure. If you have such a view and vision, it's fine. Yeah, but you need to understand how you're going to validate it later on, what's your runway and so on. Regarding the AI tools, I can say that with all the researchers are talked, they said, yeah, it's useful, but they're limited, and you need to have like a really fine-tuned versions of them. And yeah, negative feedback and start small and iterate. That's a most important part, yeah. So if you didn't start and you all started, you're awesome. The things that you are here, it means that you already take a courage to start and do something, yeah. All of you, literally. It doesn't matter if you're doing it right or wrong, you already started. So the only things you just need to do is start validating on the small parts and so on. There's 30-day challenge, as I said later, I share it, yeah. Some additional resources you might think. And yes, that's pretty much it. Any questions so far? Would love to answer any of them. If you have like a deep tech, like funding, sector.
Hello, Vitalis. I'm Mark from Nile. I wanted to ask you because I was doing these days validation for customers, and I have more or less the same problems as some people who are doing B2B, which is like, one second, which is like I need a not high standard, but well, people who have a lot of resources and money to come to validate the product that I'm building because it's an expensive one. So the point is like, which will be your recommendation? Because I was trying to find the people I was looking for in LinkedIn, etc., and to contact them. But of course, they are like very busy people, and they don't check on a guy who just come and say, "Hi, I need this, I need this for validation." Also, I try to contact people who may know them, like people who work with them, and I have their contact, etc. But it's like, can you introduce me to this person? And it's not really working. So which would be your advice?
So basically what you're telling about is like validating long sales cycles in short time frames, right? Like you have like long sales cycle as a B2B or enterprise, yeah, and you want to validate it in a short time frames. Is it correct?
Yeah, but I'm doing sorry that I'm doing B2C.
So you're
the
not
point is, I'm not doing B2B, not for long term, just trying to validate that if my idea will be attractive for them.
okay. You're doing the B2C. And what is the product is about? What is the problem itself?
It's a flying car.
Flying car.
Yeah.
Literally like just a car that
Yeah,
flies.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
lovely.
exactly.
So basically, what I would first understand what is your like a target segment, who are the people who want to buy a flying car. That's a validation I want to do it first, yeah, because the problem you want to solve is not like a it's not like about do you want to have a flying car, but who actually needs it, yeah. And it's not about like contacting, I guess, yeah, your hypothesis was around the people who are can afford it, yeah,
Yeah.
but mainly about the people who actually need it. That's the key here, yeah. So it's not about being, let's say, contacting 1,000 users or potential customers, but identifying who are they. Yeah, that's a main part. So, for example, if it would be, for example, for B2B or it will be like your commitment for future purchase. Yeah, but for is novel and customers don't know they need it. Yeah, you will not ask like would you use our flying car? Yeah, but the last time you struggled with commuting between two areas, yeah, and then you're
Okay.
targeting the people who have this struggle and can afford it, yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's like a little bit different, because if I have, let's say, flying car, what do I use it for? Do I use it for entertainment or for commute and so on? It's a particular problem you're solving. So that's a framing you need to do, like the discovery. And then the follow-up would be like, what you ideal solution look like? And maybe it will be, I don't know, helicopter, or it will be some kind of different things. Yeah. So imagine if like deep tech will ask, would you use quantum computing here? Probably not. You will ask something like, would you, how to scale compute from the current way you're approaching it, yeah, to some another level. So that's the way I will frame it at the beginning. But if you want to go further, we can just talk about this more. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Any other questions from your side?
No, just like what I was doing, it was more like introducing the what we are doing. Like I'm developing this innovative technology. So because the one thing that they are today is more like electric thing, and we're doing more like based on F-35B, the plane, which is the with the engines inside and everything. So it was more like trying to understand how they see this concept. But yeah, I think I approached wrong, because what you said is more like engaging, like, oh, what was the last time you had this problem?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, we have this thing. Yeah, quite good.
Exactly. And another thing I also stumbled upon in my mind is regarding the very simple thing is like, what is the overlapping industries? I mean, I think I have such a hypothesis that most of the flying clubs around the Europe, or a helicopter, or who are flying with Cessna, yeah, we have a lot of small airports, and people are eager to talk there. They love to talk about their planes. If you will talk with them, I think this will be much better and much easier outreach.
Yeah, because actually I have a helicopter pilot friend who actually I talked with this thing about it. I was like, oh, that's really amazing, but don't take off my job. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, but exactly the same. Like, what would you like fly from such a small airport with a car, and what are the limitations? Maybe the grass, is actually a limitation
Yeah.
for flying car. You don't know. I mean,
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome. With the next one, anyone else? Okay, great. One thing I wanted to show you just before we wrap up the things is actually, yeah, just a small thing. So I told you about all of that things here, and it's like a little bit harder to do. But what I wanted to show you is that the service I developed, and actually I will give you for free for the entire summer, meaning like from 1st June, you will be able to access it and upload your interviews. It's actually these two things that you can access. So one is like, will help you to prepare the questionnaire, and another will help you to analyze any interviews on exactly the same things. So you've seen how hard it is, yeah? And I know that these parts about the themes, patterns, and so on, it's a little bit hard to decipher. At least you might extract the persona with all the demographics, goals, skills, and it will happen absolutely automatically, yeah? But what is most important here is not an insights, which are actually quite cool, and priority insights, but actual product requirement documentation, which is being generated out of the interview. So meaning that you will have like end-to-end flow for like helper will help you to create the questionnaire, you'll be able to take this questionnaire and go to market, and it will give you also ability to identify with whom you need to talk, yeah, like we discussed now regarding the cars. And also it will give you not just an industry, also secondary secondary personas you might want to talk. Yeah, it's pretty much detailed, to be honest. And then it should give you a product requirements documentation. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe let me just load another one, or we'll wait for this one. Okay, let's go to another one, which is already generated, I guess. Okay. So it will give you like operational product requirement documentation, because not all the products are software related, yeah. And it extract all the information from the interviews, yeah. So it's like imagine you have like user research guy, yeah, who checked it in the right framework, as we did in a workshop, yeah. But it created you some kind of product requirements documentation as a product manager, yeah. So it will give you objectives, it will give you what is in scope, what is out of scope, yeah. In this case, it was fleet operation manager, yeah. It was guy who were like operating the fleets, and it will even give you acceptance criteria for, let's say, your developers, and why, what, how, and so on, yeah, with some requirements, related user stories, and so on and so on. And the success metrics will be also presented. So it's like changing, like making sure that your UXR and product management part is fulfilled, yeah. You will be able to use it for free till the end of summer. And the technical part is also covered, I would say, on an epic level, yeah. And it's all out of the interviews you will be doing, automated. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, you will receive it, I think, with some email as maybe coupon or something. Yeah, I don't know how we will do
Yeah,
this.
I think that we will publish it in LMS as well, and you will receive like you can receive an email. So we will think about that later on. But anyways, thank you so much for Vitalis for the contribution and for such a vast experience, especially personal experience cases, because I think that this is something that kind of distinguishes the speaker one through the other, and your stories were actually, yeah, really, I think, something to think about regarding user interviews and how to even build the companies and build the teams. And also I'm remembering your questions during the workshops. They were also very deep with context, so to speak.
Thank you.
Anyhow, if anyone has any questions or wanted to share the story, please go ahead. Now is the time to. As usual, I am suggesting to leave the feedback after the workshop. So I will also come to WhatsApp groups to remind you of that. But right now, it's just the time for the final comments and for wrapping it up, or questions or concerns from your side, participants. So go ahead, unmute yourself, or text anything in the chat. You have a little bit of time. Yes, so Miranda.
Hi. I completed the assignment. And there is in the calendar it said deadline for your video pitch, but I have not seen the
Yeah, so
explanation about
this is a
that.
question to me. I understood that. So we have like a final assignment. And the result of these all mainstream group activities is creating a catalog of startups to send to investors and partners from our network. And basically we have, so I will, 1 second, I will find the form. So we have until the 2nd of June, so we a little bit prolonged it. 1 second. Sorry, I think I had it really nearby, but it turns out that I don't have this. Yeah, okay. So here it is. So you just need basically to go with this form that I have now duplicated here. So in there you can insert the link to your video pitch, insert the link to your pitch deck. And this is something, I mean, if you are doing everything thoroughly and I'm pretty sure, Miranda, I've seen you on the touch points, I've seen your assignments, you're doing everything like a good student, then you will be in the catalog of these startups to be shown, to expose to our network. So yeah, this is
Okay, yeah, is this the last session?
Yeah, and this is
Okay.
and this is the last session also. So that's why it's okay to ask, I mean, to ask any questions organizationally.
Okay. And is there any other next steps besides this video?
So yeah, basically we have this video pitch, then we are until the 6th of June, we are collecting all the feedback to you, all of your assignments, and publishing it in the dashboard. And until the 15th, so that already until demo day, because we're now a little bit stressed, we will prepare the certificates for you guys for successful participation in the program. And then you will have the access to LMS. For now, I don't have any limits on time set. So for any time, I guess, possible that you can use in your future life.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, good, thanks. Yes, Abhishek.
Hello, ma'am. I think the last date of submission of your pitch deck, video pitch deck for mainstream has been extended to your 2nd June. So I am
Yes.
thinking to submit it again, submit the final version on Sunday. Hopefully it will be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. And also in case, for example, you already submitted one and then you realize that you can do something better or you want to change it, we will kind of count the latest one. So it's okay also to resubmit it.
Okay, ma'am. And another thing I would like to ask, that I am redesigning it a bit, the pitch deck. So I am adding more visualization to it. Hopefully it would be good if via visualization I explain everything.
Hopefully, what? Sorry, again, can you repeat? Sorry,
I am adding more more visualization to my pitch deck, and I am trying to explain my points, the problem, the solutions, the USPs with the via visualization in the video pitch deck. Will it be fine?
I mean, yeah, sure. It's the feel for your creativity, the feel for your, like, what you feel is best. We are giving, so that's why we are collecting the links, so that you will give, I don't know, YouTube link or whatever, or Canva or anything like that, so that you can also probably change something, but the link will be the same.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yes, Zimri.
Hi, Irina. I had a question regarding the pitches videos that we sent. So these videos are going to be posted like in your social media, or they are going to be presented on the demo day before we go on stage or something like that?
So what videos exactly? Because I know, guys,
The video
I mean,
pitch
once
for
we're going to
60
the demo
seconds
day,
that we
you have the
have
marketing
to send the
videos, you
link.
have like several things.
Yeah, we also have demos and stuff like that. But the pitch, 60-second pitch that we should send the links till 2nd of June. I'm referring to that one.
Yes. So no, it will be just sent to the network, to the audience. So it's not connected to the demo day per se.
Okay,
So
cool.
it will be mentioned. It will be mentioned on the stage that they will receive. I mean, after this thank you letter for the demo day, but it will not be shown. It will not be interfering with the whole agenda.
Okay, because I did one pitch, and after that you sent us some key areas where we should be focused on, like how much money we are raising, the team, the product, this and that.
This
Is
is
that
for the
about
jury.
this
This is
video
for your stage pitch.
for the stage? Okay, that's
Yes,
what I wanted to get
So
clear on.
separate stories. Yes.
Okay, cool. That was from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, all good. Thank you. All right. Well, I guess this is it. So thank you so much, Vitalis, for the workshop, coming back to the workshop. And also thank you everyone for actively, especially who was actively participating and engaging. Yeah, I'm copying also the materials and FAQ. You can also open it here, but I will also put them in the LMS. And wishing you a nice and pleasant Friday. And probably video pitch weekend, as I've seen here. Thank you, and see you around.
Thank
You're
you.
doing a good job.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.